What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. Big shout out to my doggy Clates for coming through and boosting the coin up, no doubt about it. So, we're going to get to this one today, people. I've seen a lot of people do videos on this and everyone ain't doing it right, bottom line, yeah? Who's better? Who the GOAT? Terence Crawford or Floyd Mayweather? I've heard people running with narratives of, oh, Floyd has 50 wins and so Crawford can't be in the conversation until then. Floyd has fought 30 bums, people. Yeah, and he can't knock any of them out either. He can't knock any of them out. Do you understand? Let's get to it anyway. Because this, for me, I feel a level of disrespect. The fact people are putting Floyd Mayweather in the same conversation as Terence Crawford. That's how I feel. Floyd is a fraud. Yeah? Bottom line. Most of you man have been suckered in here on this whole fraud thing. Anyway, let's get to it then. So, a lot of people like to go back, yeah, but YB, his hands, and oh, YB, when he was early in his career, he weren't doing none. Yeah? Can we not all agree that 2007, he was pretty young then? How was he now? Floyd's 46 now, so 2007 was 16 years ago. He was 30 years old, people. Like, what? He was 30-year-old. The absolute pinnacle of his career. This Oscar fight, yeah, was the peak fight for him. Big fight. Big highlight fight of his career. And what did he do? He went life and death. Split decision win. I think he lost it. In fact, his dad thinks he lost it too. This guy in the cornball.
Father of Floyd.
See the fight. Junior Senior, who was in the middle of all of this with his heart and with his head. How did you see the fight, Floyd?
Well, I'm just going to be honest with you, man. If you want to call fight by scoring, point system, who throwing more punches, you would have to give it to Oscar. But if you just going on a guy hitting a guy with single shots, then you have to give it to my son. My son he had good defense. I'm not saying a lot. He caught a lot of punches with his shoulder and his arms, but so it's still about punches. It's about people, a guy throwing punches.
So what you're saying here is that you felt that because Oscar was pressing the fight and throwing a lot of punches, and that Floyd Jr. was throwing single shots and just blocking punches, you could have seen Oscar getting the decision. Is that what you're saying?
I thought the fight was a close fight, but it's just where the point system go, man. If you look at the point system, man, who touching who the most?
Oscar or Floyd? Who won?
Hey, man, if you go by point system, you're going to have to give it to Oscar. If you go by point system.
Thank you.
There you heard it.
If you're going by the point system, you're going to have to give it to Oscar. Now, I have to kind of put a caveat on them statements from Senior, because politically speaking, at that time, Floyd and his dad weren't getting on very well, and I believe Freddie Roach was in the corner for that particular fight. So Senior wasn't biased because he wasn't training De La Hoya at that time. In fact, De La Hoya requested to be trained by Floyd Senior, but Floyd Senior demanded too much money. So De La Hoya ended up going with Freddie Roach instead. The reason I bring that up is to say, there could be an argument, oh well, Senior's just hating. It's a hating ass dude. But if you can read, what's the word? If you can read, it's not body language, but if you can read, watch that video, yeah, and get the vibe. Floyd Senior didn't come out and say, yeah, Floyd got washed and he a bum. He said, he was and ahhing. You could tell he was conflicted, nonetheless though. And when someone's conflicted, that's how you know they're giving a fair analysis. He didn't come out and say, yeah, Oscar won every round. He said it was a close fight. Floyd's defense, and that's my criticism of Floyd. Floyd is the greatest defensive fighter of all time. But it's not a one-sided sport like that, in my opinion. Especially not when you have people like Terence Crawford in the game. Because, again, like Senior said, defending and pot-shotting, it's easy to defend when you're pot-shotting. You know what I mean? Or it's definitely easier pot-shotting than it is doing what Crawford does. Crawford light your ass up, pot shot, and defend all at the same time. And this is why you can't, it's a disrespect, yeah, to put them in the same thing. Again, like Floyd Sr. said, Floyd's defense is on point. No one can deny that. But that's what they call running. That's why they call it running. Focusing on one element, that might work well. But when you got a dude like Crawford out here, who he do it all, to even compare the two, it's not, genuinely, I'm not hating. If Floyd was up there with Crawford, I'd say that. I've got nothing to get. I'm not a hater. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just the bottom line. When we have the greatness of someone like Crawford, to put Floyd in the conversation, who can't punch, yeah, he can't punch, he can't do offense, and that's just the bottom line, people. He can't do it. He fight bums as well. Never tried to challenge himself. I got videos coming later in the week. Roy Jones came out and said, listen, essentially Floyd never really tried to chase greatness. He tried to fight bums. Yeah? He never went up and wanted to dare how bad he was. He just fought a bunch of bums. That's what he did. I'm sorry, people. So, in the prime of his career, I mean, just look at all the good people he fought, he went life and death with. Zab Judah, 12 rounds. No knockdowns. De La Hoya, 12 rounds. He lost it. Yeah, Ricky Hatton, fair play to him. He got a stoppage there for 16 years ago. So fair play to Floyd. Floyd got a stoppage 16 years ago. And Ricky Hatton, he's run into it anyway. I didn't really rate Ricky like that. Truth be known. Like, call it what you want, but I don't rate Ricky like that. I just don't. But still, I'll give Floyd credit for that. Okay, he got one stoppage. And the rest are life and death fights. Literally. Floyd didn't have a stoppage for 20 years of his career. The last 20 years of his career. Look, 2006 all the way into God knows over here somewhere. 10 years, sorry. Yeah? And he was fighting twice a year as well. No knockdowns either. He didn't knock down Berto. He didn't knock down Pacquiao. He didn't knock down Maidana. I thought he won that Maidana fight. Or he did win it, but the mixed decision. I mean, Maidana was pressing him, but he came back in the rematch and beat him handedly. But you can't really call what Floyd does beating someone, because he wins. That's all he does. He doesn't impress. He doesn't light someone up. He go life and death with them. He pot shot, like Senior said. Yeah, boxing for me is about more than pot shotting. Especially if you claim, don't forget, Floyd never said I'm the greatest defensive fighter of all time. He claimed he the GOAT. And he made a point of going 50-0, didn't he? For that reason. Now, I don't even know about Rocky Marciano. Never heard of him. I never watched him. I think it's a bit of a fake news shtick. But nonetheless, the fact Floyd hanged around to fight bums to get to 50-0 shows he thinks that means something in his mind. Do you know what I mean? He could have... Loads of fighters have stopped at 44 or whatever. Calzaghe, for example, he could have... That shows you about Floyd. Floyd's a loser, people. He's a gimp. Yeah? Because he knew what he was doing. He weren't... I'm not saying... Again, I haven't looked at Marciano. I think Marciano fought a load of bums as well. But again, that's why we have to hold Terence Crawford in a certain realm here. Yeah? Terence Crawford, when he goes 50-0, it's not going to be the same as... Even if... You know what? Even if Crawford goes... For example, Crawford could do this, yeah? Spence 2... which will be 41. Tim Tszyu, which will be 42, potentially. Jamel Charlo, 43. Some bums some dudes at 160. That'll be like 44, I guess. Yeah, 44, 45. And then Canelo at 68. Yeah. He could get this. Listen, I don't care what number it is. It could be 45, it could be 46. Number one, never mind resume, just on pure skills, just on what Crawford's about, he clowns on Floyd. He could retire, truth be known, he could retire now, and I'd still say he's levels above Floyd. Because Floyd just can't do what he does. I don't want to hear about, but this way in his hands. Because listen, yeah, if Floyd Mayweather's hands are so bad, and that's his excuse for everything, why is he still fighting at 46 years old, people? You man allege... Floyd had bad hands for YB and... Okay, so Floyd had bad hands in 2005, 2007 or whatever. That's the reason he got beat up by De La Hoya. Wait a minute. You're 30 years old against De La Hoya. 16 years later, you're still boxing. And your hands are really bad. Okay, people, that's lies. Yeah, if your hands are so bad that you can't punch, and you have to change your style, how are you possibly in the ring at 46? It makes no sense. If your hands are fragile at 30, your hands are going to be shot to bits at 46. That's what it is. How the body works. You don't regenerate at 46. The point is, there's nothing wrong with his hands. He just can't punch. Yeah? Oops. Floyd's fought umpteen people who have been stopped before. He can't do none with them. Most of the people, that's the thing, most of the people on his resume have been stopped before. Most of them. Berto, he'd been beat. Pacquiao, he'd been knocked spark out by a lesser fighter, Marquez. Yeah? Maidana, I think he'd been stopped to the body by someone. I think, didn't Amir Khan stop him to the body? Amir Khan can't punch either. Amir Khan can't punch people. He can't. His speed, phenomenal speed, he can't punch. And I think that's actually a reason why Floyd didn't fight Amir. Because that fight, in terms of money, would have been big. The whole Asia shtick and whatever else. The reason Floyd didn't want to fight Amir Khan, because he know, damn, it's going to look bad for me when my no power having ass going to go in Amir Khan and go 12 rounds. Yeah? Anyone who's anyone. I like Kell Brook. Kell Brook, for example, he smoked on Amir Khan. Yeah? But Floyd would have gone 12 rounds, no knockdowns, life and death. Do you understand? That's why Floyd didn't do it. He didn't want to be, the only guy not to stop Amir Khan. Yeah? Pacquiao been knocked spark out. Maidana been stopped. Alvarez, that was a good win. But again, one-dimensional. Yeah? Floyd doesn't know how to up the gears. He doesn't know how to do it. Crawford... Floyd Mayweather is like a manual car. Yeah? With one gear. Floyd Mayweather is like a manual car with one gear. Yeah? Terence Crawford is a automatic 9-speed. He just changes gears and it's dynamic and he's, you know what I mean? None of it's force. He don't rush. He's not, traditionally speaking, I like people who go in there and set about it, but Crawford's got this, he's got laser guided accuracy, yeah? He's got carbon fibre nano plated nerves. You don't feel no pain either, apparently. Because we've seen them shots, we've seen Errol Spence do that jab, bang, bang to the body and everyone else kind of tightens up. Their butt gets tight. Crawford was in there, you wouldn't even know he'd been hit. Yeah, that's what you call nano-plated nerve endings. That's what it is. Got some listen, the alien dudes, they fixed him up. That's what I believe. If I was to bet now, did the aliens pattern Crawford up, I'd say yes. It don't make no sense. Yeah, his shots just, they're whipping as well. You don't slap him either. They're like, it's mad. And he ain't doing what, I like Canelo and the way Canelo punches, yeah. But Canelo, he ain't got no gas tank, number one. And number two, he can only really put one or two shots together. And then he has to reset and get his balance right and walk and kind of plod forward some more. Crawford, he whipping 4 or 5 shots in. And then it's just unparalleled, people. Floyd was not doing that. Yeah, he just ain't. And you can, but YB in 1995? I'm not interested in 1995, I'm just not. I don't know what Floyd... I can't tell you about... Them names, they might have been good. Even then, no, look. Okay, when Floyd was in his peak, he was still going life and death. He wasn't stopping no one, people. Be fair here. I'm trying to be fair to Terence Crawford's greatness. Even in Floyd's prime, he was going life and death. Many people think he lost the Castillo fight. I think he did all right in both of them, truth be known. I don't think it was that close. Nonetheless, the judges did. But either way, that's the point Crawford making. Or that's the point I'm making for Crawford. Why Floyd, and he's such a goat, why is he going 12 rounds with Castillo for? Because Terence Crawford, he's smoking on. Let's assume Castillo's as good as Errol Spence. Yeah? Let's assume... And Castillo was a challenger. He wasn't even a champion. But let's assume Castillo was as good as Spence. Well, oops. Yeah? We just saw Terence Crawford smoke on Castillo. He stayed puffing on him. To this day, from what I'm hearing. The reports from Omaha, Nebraska are, Bud is still puffing on Spence right now. And I love Spence. Spence, right, for me now, yeah, Spence is my favourite fighter. I'm not clowning on him, but I ain't going to lie to you either. Yeah? He puffing on him to this day. I don't know what they put in that blunt, yeah, but there's someone else. Some sort of long-lasting pack, apparently. Because how many, what's it now? 2 days? 2 or 3 days later? 3 days later and the pack's still burning. The blunt is still light, man. Fair play to it, Bud. He's smoking on it. He stays smoking on it. Do you understand? Look at this guy, look. Oh, he's the best ever. Never heard of any of these names. I think I heard of him maybe once. Okay, but even then, look, got life and left with these guys. That's the thing. People say, oh, but YB, Terence Crawford had decisions early in his career. Well, make your mind up then. Because Floyd didn't stop no one for the last 15 years and lost to De La Hoya. So which is it then? Is this guy as good as Crawford or is he not? Because look at every good fighter Floyd fights, he can't stop them and he can't hurt them. So I'm not sure where people are getting this from. You know, I'm just not sure how you can even have the conversation. Genuinely, anyone who Zab Judah distance, 38-year-old Shea Mosley distance, Oscar De La Hoya 50-year-old lost. Yeah, and this is the greatest man ever. Marquez lost. Sorry, went distance. Okay, he knocked him down. Floyd has one knockdown in 15 years. Well done. That makes you the GOAT, does it? I don't think so, people. Yeah, and to add insult to injury, Crawford is 36 years old. Crawford has broke his hand too. Oops. Yeah, Floyd was complaining. You Floyd cucks are out there defending Floyd at 30 years old, not being able to punch. Crawford out here at 36, no complaining. And he lightened up he lightened up Errol Spence until last night was pound for pound top 5. These dudes, Shea Mosley weren't pound for pound top 5 at 38-year-old. Yeah? I don't know what Zab was doing then, but I'm pretty sure Zab had half fell off by then as well. Let's have a look. When Floyd fought Zab. Where is it? What year was it? 2000. Let's have a look then. Yeah, look, this is what I'm saying, people. It's a joke. When I look at these resumes, yeah, I thought, it must be a kind of fluke thing. Next thing we know, Errol Spence goes in there. The guy who hits people and they stay hit. And it happens the same way. Errol Spence's jab looks all floppy. Any shots he does land just don't have no impact. And then when Crawford hits them back, they stay hit. Do you know what I mean? Sean Porter. No, I didn't even really rate this fight. I think a lot of people say, oh, YB, Fury went easy on Chisora. I think, bear in mind, Porter and Crawford are friends, yeah. Looking back now, when you watch it, Crawford was just boxing with a guy for the first 6 rounds. And then, when his trainer told him it might be close, he came out like a bat out of hell. And that's another thing that Floyd don't have. Yeah, when Floyd was getting beat up by De La Hoya, there was no switching gears, was there? Floyd never thought, I'm down here, let's do some. Yeah? He was just, again, he's a manual 1-gear car. There is 1 speed for Floyd. He doesn't have gears in there. He doesn't have that dog in him. If Floyd can nick a fight on points, he'll do that. That's what Floyd's good at. He's not good at stamping and putting his name on it. Now, that's the thing, you see. A lot of these names, yeah, myself included, I was a Crawford hater. Ain't gonna lie to you, I'm honest. I was a Crawford hater. Yeah? A lot of these names, Sean Porter was retiring and Kell Brook was finished. But the reason I've flipped now completely, this Avanesian fight was almost a turning point for me, but certainly this fight here, because the problem with having a narrative is, Kell Brook was finished, Sean Porter was finished. It's like, well, at what point do you draw the line? Errol Spence's weight drain. No, I'm not doing that, people. I'm not doing it. Yeah? Terence Crawford, he doing things, and looking back now, I don't think Kell Brook is finished. In fact, Kell Brook came back to whoop on Amir Khan and look amazing. Yeah? Terence Crawford has this effect of making people look finished. That's just what they have. Look, Avanesian, he looked great against Josh Kelly. Comes back and just looks like a bum. To be fair, Avanesian, I actually think Avanesian did a better job than Errol Spence for what it's worth. But still, Avanesian smoked on. Sean Porter stopped for the first time in his career. See what I mean? This guy's popping cherries. I think Avanesian got stopped earlier in his career. Yeah, he's been stopped. He got TKO'd. But this is a good dude here apparently as well. So he's been stopped before. But not cold like that though. You know what I mean? Crawford iced the dude. Errol Spence never stopped. Sean Porter never stopped. Kell Brook has never been done like that either. When Kell Brook got stopped by Errol Spence, it wasn't a get knocked out kind of thing. When Kell Brook got stopped by Triple G, it wasn't I'm knocked out. when you best believe it, when Terence Crawford touched dude, he was hit. Triple G couldn't even hit. That's the truth. Yeah, Triple G didn't hit have Kell Brook out on his feet like he was in this fight. But again, at the time, many people, myself included, could say, yeah, but Triple G finished him and Errol Spence finished him. And that's why I ain't doing that here. That's why I'm on the bandwagon. Truth be known, yeah, if Terence Crawford asked me to blow him, I'd probably start blowing him right now. Yeah, if there's any man in the world I'll blow, it'd probably be him. I can't lie to you, yeah, 100%. I'll be, you know what I mean, everyone's there in honour of his greatness. Who else is on here? Oh, look at these. Crawford's popping undefeated, unknocked out fighters cherries properly as well, not nicking points. Look at this run, look. TKO. Khan. TKO. Can't quit, to be fair. TKO, Jeff Horn. Indongo. I actually thought he was going to beat Crawford. And again, my bad. I discounted. I was saying things like, oh, Indongo quit, but we have to respect what Crawford's doing to these guys. Crawford's turning these guys out. Indongo was a big, long, rangy dude who looked dangerous. He got in there with Crawford, and it reminded me, looking back now, of Rigo versus Loma. Indongo knew what he was like. Sometimes you get in there and you know that the guy everywhere on your ass, and you don't want to get knocked spark out, and that's what Indongo did. Yeah? Undisputed 140. I'm pretty sure Floyd was never undisputed as well. Why? Because Floyd know how to politic. That's another strike against his name. That's another reason why it's a disrespect to put Floyd's name in there with Crawford. Floyd spent his whole career politicking. Like Billy Joe, for example. Not as bad at all. Billy Joe, I did a video the other day. Billy Joe Saunders, yeah? Look at who he got belts from. He got a belt from this complete bum. WBO vacant title. That's what Floyd was on. Floyd would wait for a bum with a title, yeah, and then fight them. Like Robert Guerrero, for example. Robert Guerrero weren't no pound for pound champion who's unified the division. Like Errol Spence. Like Ndongo. He's just another bum with a belt in a 4-belt era, in a weak era. But yeah, I don't even really count, and this is why I wasn't really a big fan of Crawford early on in his career. I actually think Crawford was weight drained. I think that explains a lot of what's going on here. I think Crawford was like 50% in these weights, because that's why I wasn't too hot on him. Look, decision. It was kind of like, you know, I heard the hype. I didn't really rate him. It's this 147 run that's got my nipples hard. And the fact that he needs to go up again shows you, if he's not even comfortable at 147, how was he making? What weight was he making? I think it's 130 at the bottom. No, 135. How is he making 135? He must have he must have nothing in his body. And that explains why now he's more dangerous. Because he's actually, I don't believe in weight cutting. I don't believe you can think straight. I think, naturally you can't. How can you possibly think straight when there's no water in your body? And there's no calories in there? It's nonsensical. And now you're going to be punched in the head. That makes no sense. But I believe we're going to see it. And that's the reason I think Crawford getting better with time. Not because it's time, but because he's fighting more healthy. On the flip side of that is obviously Errol Spence, who's been a career 147 pounder. But listen, before I finish, I want to talk about this as well on this topic of Floyd. Because whether you believe what Floyd Sr. said or whether you believe what I said about Floyd and De La Hoya, let's see Floyd's own action. So in 2015, Floyd came out and said, I want a rematch with De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya replies, Oscar De La Hoya dismisses Floyd Mayweather's rematch suggestion. Yeah? But it goes on to say, I'm happy, I'm retired, I'm content, De La Hoya said. I'm never coming back. On Wednesday, in 2015, Mayweather suggested he was open to defending his 48-0 professional record against his former rival and the man he defeated after a controversial split decision in 2007. Oscar, he's coming back, Mayweather said. I mean, if he wants to, we can rock and roll in the same gym. He said he wanted a rematch, so if Oscar wants it, he can get it. I mean, this in itself, like, Floyd's a joker. In 2015, he wanted to fight Oscar De La Hoya. Floyd was what at that age? Well, if he's 46 now, 8 years ago, it'd have been 38 people. Terence Crawford's age. And he's trying to fight it. You know, it's just wild. I can't lie to you. Proper wild. Anyway. But the 42-year-old Oscar De La Hoya posted a video on Instagram on Thursday to nip that notion in the bud. Our first fight had a rematch clause, but it had to take place within a year, and he retired a year and 1 day after. De La Hoya said, "Look, I'm retired, I'm happy. I'm content. I'm never coming back." There you go, people. Floyd retired, he ran off, yeah? Floyd didn't want no smoke, bottom line. He didn't want no smoke. He retired and ran off and then came back a year later to fight Marquez, I believe. Make that make sense. Floyd didn't want, he was on his arse, man. Bottom line. De La Hoya was on his arse, he knew it. That's why he ran off into retirement. Do you understand? A fake retirement at that. Floyd came out with a statement, "Oh, I'm really sad about the fight. I don't love this game anymore." Oh yeah. Conveniently. The first fight Floyd lost, he don't love boxing anymore. Yeah. One of them ones. And it was really, I reckon it makes sense now. It was De La Hoya fight that finished him, I believe. Or did he fight Ricky Hatton first? I'm not sure. Let's have a look at his resume again. Because if we think about it, Floyd Mayweather. If I'm correct, yeah. Which I might not be, to be fair. So Floyd beat De La Hoya. Oh, went life and death with De La Hoya. And then he beat Ricky Hatton. And then he retired. So, yeah, my point's not valid, to be fair, but still. I was going to say, if Floyd had retired immediately after De La Hoya, then he's just scared to death, isn't he? But either way, he crumbled. And even if you forget about that part, just look at the resume. Yeah? Floyd is a one-dimensional fighter, essentially. Terence Crawford's the full package. He can sit back and pop your head off. And I think Crawford does more damage with his jab than Floyd does in any hand. That's just what it is. That jab, that piston jab we saw from Crawford is more dangerous than Floyd's right hand. Big facts. And Crawford could have sat back and I reckon he probably could have stopped Errol Spence with a jab on that night 2 days ago, for what it's worth. Floyd ain't stopping. Floyd could hit you with 20 shots and he ain't stopping you. That's what the evidence shows. Anyway, where's the last thing? Oh yeah, that's the last thing I want to say is a lot of people are going to try and debate this like it's a debate, but the bottom line is, yeah, George Foreman, he KO'd Michael Moorer at like 46 years old, 45-year-old. Where is it? And Michael Moorer was undefeated at the time. Where is it? Here we go. Michael Moorer, 35-0, yeah? Before this fight, he wasn't a world champion. Foreman, he won both these belts on this night against an undefeated champion who had beat Evander Holyfield to get the belts. My point is, yeah, we can talk about this till we're blue in the face. I'm right, for sure. But if you're, listen, any of you men out there, yeah, who aren't sure about what would happen, tell Floyd to get his old goat ass in there with Crawford. I'm sure Crawford happy to oblige and tear the ass up. Yeah, I'm sure Terence Crawford more than happy to put Floyd in his birthday suit. Yeah? That's what and if I'm wrong, yeah, fair play to you. Bear in mind, Floyd said he's the GOAT. Well, Floyd, if you're the GOAT, Foreman knocked out the unified reigning champion at 45, 46-year-old. So, you should have no problem doing the same, should you, Mr. GOAT? Yeah, get your old ass in there, dust them button. By the way, the worst thing is, people, Floyd's still boxing. Oops. Yeah, no excuse. He's like, I haven't been in the ring. In fact, Floyd's more active than Terence Crawford. He's fighting every other month. He's sharp. Yeah, so Floyd, get your sharp ass in there with Crawford. And if you beat Crawford, I'll suck you off myself. I would, genuinely. If Floyd beats Crawford, even on point, obviously it's going to be points, but if he beats him, I'll say, yeah, definitely the GOAT. Yeah? And you earn yourself a blowy from the YB. And I'm not even built that way in that sense, but I'll blow him for sure. Do you know what I mean? If he beat Crawford, that's what I'll do. That's the bet. This for me is beyond money. I don't believe, not on his best day, he could do done with Crawford's best day and Floyd's best day. Floyd gets smoked on, for sure. Because when that pot shot and when Floyd's getting hit with 3 pieces, he ain't gonna like it. Especially not from wiry Terence Crawford either. Yeah, Floyd good at fighting people like Canelo who are slow-footed and they're gonna put one shot together. That's relatively easy to defend. When you're in there and you've got laser-guided, rock-hard hands lapping you in the face like Errol Spence had, it's a different ball game. Yeah? So, that's the bottom line, people. Let's not debate this anymore. I'm right, or get Floyd's old ass in there. That's what we have left, people. Yeah, there's nothing to debate. Nothing at all. I'm right. And if I'm not, tell him to get his old ass in there. And that in itself tells you all you need to know. It's not like Crawford's 30. Crawford's 37 in a few months. So, if your man's that great and you're sure he really would have done this, that, and the other, get in there then. Yeah, well, it wouldn't be unprecedented, would it? It would not be unprecedented, as I've shown you with Foreman. It would not be unprecedented for someone to be 40. And I actually think Foreman did it in 1995. These days, people are a lot healthier. Yeah, you got sports science and recovery and whatever else. So, there's no excuse, people, for Mr. GOAT. And that's why I like Crawford, because Crawford, as far as I'm aware, he don't come out and say, I'm the greatest of all time. No one done it like me. Floyd slagged off Ali and that lot, didn't he? Oh, Ali weren't like me. Look how Ali finished the game. Oh, Ali couldn't even speak. I'm trying to keep my faculties. He's slagging off Ali and everyone back in the day. So yeah. You're old. Listen, that's another great point, in fact. The fact Floyd criticises people like Ali who can't speak, who give everything. Ali gave his last brain cell to the game. That's a whole reason why there should be no problem for him getting in there. You're right, Floyd. You do have all your faculties. Great then. No excuse to not run it with Crawford and see who really the greatest of all time. Oops. Oh, you know what I mean? Say, you Floyd cucks be acting like, oh, why be, but he's old. No, he's not. He told you himself. Yeah, he's not old. He got all his faculties. He's still boxing. So what's the problem? There's no problem in my book. There's no problem at all. Yeah, he looked good to me. So, that's what you do. You either agree with me, or you get his old ass back in the ring with Crawford. That's it. No, there's no other question. There's no way you can look at this and say, Floyd's the best. No way. There's no way. Yeah? No way. He either fights Crawford now and settles it, or Crawford's a GOAT. And I even forget about Crawford. Crawford's, for me, the greatest fighter of all time, full stop. In any way, in any time. But Floyd's not even in the top 5 of that conversation. I'm not a historian, but I can tell you now, Floyd ain't in there. I'd put Floyd number 2 as the greatest defensive fighter of all time, behind Crawford. But that's it. There's like a league. The greatest fighter of all time. I'd put Mike Tyson probably as top 3 greatest defensive fighter of all time. But again, I've got Crawford number 1 there as well. Yeah? Mike, he ran out of gas after 5 rounds. Mike didn't really like to have a fight either. Mike would be good at beating people up. Anytime he got put back on him, he didn't really like it so much. Errol Spence, he did try to put on Crawford. It's not like Crawford could have easily took a few shots and thought, he's fighting back. You know what I mean? So I put Crawford top 3 offensive fighter of all time for sure. Mike Tyson I put in top 3 as well. Terence Crawford top defensive fighter of all time. Floyd's top 3. But the greatest, to put them together, you can't put Mike Tyson as the greatest defensive fighter of all time. He had good defense when he was good, but after 6 rounds, all that head movement just stopped. You know what I mean? So, it's not consistent. Terence Crawford will consistently whoop on your ass and not get hit. I've never seen anything like it. No mark on his faces. Anyway, I was about to say let me know your thoughts, but you don't need to. Because you either agree or Floyd's old ass need to get back in there. It's as simple as that.